Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And as I said last week, I would be diving back into the world of French ration cuisine with this RCIR. This is the second one that was sent to me. This is the new labeling style. I'm not sure exactly when the French ration packer decided to incorporate the special markings into the standard box text layout, whereas before in the halal marked RCIR it was a green stamp put on at an angle, but this is incorporated right into the box text. I'm sure that if I saw a more recent halal RCIR, it would probably be the same. It would just have the halal marking on there, whereas this one is just without pork. And this one is an all fish one. Even the soup is fishy. There is Emphasis and Cliff in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So since I did an unboxing of this when I did the first meal, I have already gotten rid of all of the things that I obviously will not be using, and I've added in a couple of things that will supplement. For instance, there's only one drink mix in here, one cold drink mix, so I add another one from my stash. So this is the fish soup. So I can either do this or the cod paté. And this is the cod paté. And then this one, the box says milky dessert, but this is kind of like a cake made out of semolina wheat with a caramel topping on it. So that's one dessert. And this cocoa drink powder, I've never had this one. This was actually produced by Homipsa out of Spain. Some pronounce it Jomipsa, but I pronounce it Homipsa since it is from Spain. And of course got a coffee, and I saved the green tea. And these are all produced by Homipsa. But the two mains, this is the tuna salad, or no, salmon salad. It says to be eaten cold, but I just prefer something like this warm. So this is one option for tonight, and the can did take a bit of a ding, but the top looks fine. Then the other can is a tuna salad. Again, I would eat both of these warm, and I have had this one before. It's very delicious, and I do like it warm, so that would be the other option as far as the main goes. Then the other items that are in here that I could pick from. This is the Isostar Apricot cereal bar. I have had these before. They're not bad. Apricot jam. So because there's only one jam, I decided to just grab a peanut butter from my stash. The same nougat bar, but only newer. And this is 65% cacao chocolate bar. This is the one that kind of feels like it took a bit of the heat because it's misshapen a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. And then the other two bars. This is an MX3 branded coffee bar. So it's probably somewhat similar to that Commando coffee bar. And this is a mixed berry fruit jelly bar. So those are all of the smaller items in there. And as I said last time, the crackers are the same flavor, just in different box from the same company. That's the cereal bar, or the cereal crackers. The same chocolate flavored ones. And then the salted ones. So there's 2 more packs of these, the salted ones, 1 more pack of the cereal ones, and then 2 more packs of the chocolate ones. So I'll save 1 set of the chocolate and the salt ones for next time, plus the cereal ones for next time, and then the other 2, they'll just be a snack for myself later on. I'm going to look through the chat. I'm going to move this off to the side so I can actually see the chat. So as before, I can have some of the bars as a dessert and save this for another time, or I can have this tonight. So I will let you all decide. And then the same with the soup. I can either have this fish soup or the cod pate. So that is one set of choices. And again, for the main, tuna salad or the salmon salad, and this one has pasta in it and spicy. Yeah. There's Mike Kreischer in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So these are the choices as far as yeah, I really enjoy this tuna salad, but I prefer it warm. So I don't care what the box says or anybody says, I will heat this up. And I would definitely do that with the salmon. This appears to be a slightly different, I mean, I would treat this more like a tuna stew because of all the veggies in it. I'm pulling all the bars back. Okay, so it's this. So, should I go with the tuna this time and save the salmon for next week? Or should I do the salmon tonight and save the tuna for next week? I mean, I've had this, so I know what it's like. But the salmon, I've definitely have not had that one. I have had this mango tea MX3 drink mix before. I like it. Some people don't, but I do. Again, these Mama Ines drink options that they've included, I have not had any of these before, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying any of these. But this is the mint tea. I had the Ceylon black tea last time. So I figured I would pull the mint tea out of this one. Apparently no one, I guess they want me to decide since I'm not seeing anything from you all as to which one of these I should take to the kitchen. Yes, Cliff, these are the French rations are the tops. I wouldn't mind having a whole case of the halal ones and a whole case of the without pork ones. That would be pretty darn awesome. You know, since I haven't had this one before, I think I'll go ahead and put this one into the pot and then save this one for later. Yeah, this one does have a bit of a tang to it, and I think that's awesome. It's a great flavor to have in this. So I'll go ahead and put this one back into the box. In fact, so which hot drink should I do next, or should I just decide that myself? I definitely do want to try this. So you know, I'll go ahead and open this up since this is actually started to open anyway, and I will have a bag to my left to toss all the trash in. The other cold drink option that I brought in was a lime flavored British drink. Then this one is the mango tea. And I like this. Some may not like it. I've never had a British lime drink, so you know what? I'm going to go for this one tonight, just for the heck of it. This extra sticker that was put on this and kind of made it hard to open normally. And this is one of those that tells you to use 500 mils of water, but I'm not going to. Definitely a lot less color than the American version. It looks like what you would expect a true limeade to look like, instead of the green that's like this color. I just added a tiny bit more water to it. So what I will do now is I will take this into the kitchen and then I will, but before I do that, should I open up the soup and get a bowl for it? Or should I have the cod pate? Actually, that'll be the so I see one for the pate, and then save this fish soup for another day. I do like these neff soups. They do have a tendency to thicken up as it sits. But, well, we'll save that for another day. It'll be the cod pate. And I'll decide on the bars and dessert later, so I'll get this into the kitchen and I will be back with the water for the cocoa. I just take the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of the way. No, DeCarlos, I have just started. I took the salmon salad with pasta into the kitchen. I'm heating that up. I'm having the cocoa mix. And instead of the French drink, I'm having the British lime drink. Yeah, that. A little bit of a. There we go. A little bit of a dribble there, but. Yeah, I use my sleeve for that. I don't care. So this is a cod pate. I'll go ahead and open this up. Oh wow, it's stuck to the... Wow, look at how light that is in color. Yeah, cod is a white fish. But I did not expect this pate to be so light in color. Wow. And so for a dessert, Should I open this? Again, it's kind of a wheat cake with a caramel sauce or drizzle on top. And again, I would leave this in the can and just eat this right out of the can. Or I could save this for later and then pick some of these bars. And this is an MX3 coffee flavored bar. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to the Commando bar that had from the last RCIR. And this is the mixed berry jelly bar. Last one was strawberry. And got the fruit nougat bar, and it looks to be the exact same. Just newer. And this is the apricot bar. I've had this one before, so it's not bad. It's kind of like the Commando bars in texture. This one, because it's newer, it might have that smell. But the one from the older ration really didn't have much of a smell at all. And it was a little bit hard, whereas this one, it's a lot softer. Well, not a lot softer, just a little bit. And the chocolate bar, this one feels like it's seen a little bit of heat. No, the French rations only give you one. For a 24-hour period. And I guess the rest of the day the French soldier would have 2 coffees, 2 teas, and the cocoa mix, plus whatever additional water he or she might drink. I just choose to toss in another cold drink mix from my stash. But this one is a lime flavored. Notice how natural it looks over the American version. And this is mixed at a stronger amount than what the packet says. So if I'm having to... So which one of these bars should I go ahead and open up? Say like a couple of them. Meanwhile, I will open this up. Well, that just sent a little bit of the caramel off to the left. Yeah, I would definitely leave that in the can. Uh, Carlos, are you referring to the French drink or just other ones in general that taste like that? Yeah, I do remember the Flintstones vitamins because we had those in the house when I was a kid. So, I'll let you guys decide which. Pick out a couple of bars and I will open them up. While I open up these crackers, some of which have taken a bit of heat. They're taking a bit of abuse along the way. And these are the chocolate ones. These are the salted ones. And these are the cereal ones. Sometimes in these rations you'll get the cereal with chocolate flakes in it. So they call it a chocolate chip. Again, I have two spread options. This is the apricot jam that was in the ration. And then I just grabbed a peanut butter from my stash. That I would open up the next time. I'll just place these here, and in the meantime my salmon should be warmed up enough, so I will get that and I'll be right back. So I'm going to toss them back in the box for a second. I am back with my salmon salad. Salmon with pasta. This thing right here is part of my foam mount, so it does get in the way. Well, that was a fail. I am going to have to go get drastic with it in the kitchen to open this up. So give me a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. I used a butter knife to put a little pressure on it so I can get it open. So now I can tip this up. With these so they don't get splashed. There we go. There is. Oops. Big chunks of salmon with the pasta. And I'm guessing that is the red bell pepper, the red bits. And thanks for dropping in, Mike. I'm glad you at least got to see this one opened up. The pasta is very soft, but the salmon is very flaky. It breaks apart very easily. And that is red bell pepper. The salmon flavor is pretty much all there. It doesn't taste like it's been obscured by anything. I don't know why anyone would eat this cold when they have the opportunity to heat it up. Now again, if someone did not have time to heat it up, then they probably would eat it cold, but it's perfectly fine. I mean, this would definitely warm you up on a cold day. And they did not skimp on the salmon. There is a lot in here. I just took a drink of the Mama Ines Coco. Slight upgrade over the SRD. But I gotta go back to this. It'd be nice to have a little bit more of the veggies in it. Oh, this whiteness of this pate is really messing with my chat. Okay, this one is cod. See, it's very light in color. And unlike the previous pate, very, very creamy. Definitely taste the cod. I just licked it off the cracker because I wanted to taste the pate by itself, but it's almost a cream. So easily dip your cracker into it. Not very salty, but the saltiness of the cracker definitely works with it. Like, I may reverse those just so it's easier to read the chat because I'm looking at white letters and against that very light background, it's hard to read it. But that's actually not not a bad pate. And that's a lime drink from a British Ration. I will have the mango tea next time. And if you can take a basic fish pate, you can put some additional seasonings in it that you would think would complement that fish, or you can put some finely minced vegetables in there, or some herbs, whatever. But that's just a basic cod pate. There is multi-magnum in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm having the salmon salad warmed. It's just big chunks of salmon, soft pasta, and some bits of red bell pepper. Just enough seasoning. So it doesn't cover up the flavor of the salmon. I'll tell you, as I said earlier, they did not skimp on the salmon. There is a lot of it in here. Yeah, this is a 2021 RCIR. This one is the newer style where the special markings are incorporated into the rest of the box text. Instead of the green stamp that would be applied at an angle like the older RCIRs were. Like the halal one that I did before I did the little bit of fun with using ration components to come up with a survival meal based on a burrito type theme, but it ended up being more like a soft taco because those tortillas would not have accepted rolling into the proper burrito shape. And this is a very white looking cod pate. Takes the salt from the crackers very well. And this is that dessert. Well, imagine this right, so that this would have been the top, but as it is, that's when it's served. Normally, this would be on top, but I'm just leaving this in the can. It's kind of like a durum wheat soft cake with a caramel sauce on top. The box said milky dessert, but I guess this is what the ration packer tossed in. instead of like any other thing that might be considered a milky dessert. But these are very good. I do enjoy these. Got the usual suspects for the crackers, salty, cereal, and the chocolate ones. Then the bars, which I have not opened up. This is the MX3 branded coffee bar. It'd be similar to the Commando bar. I got the mixed berry fruit jelly bar. Same fruit nougat bar as in the last ration, just newer. This is an Isostar apricot flavored cereal bar, which I have had before. And then this is the 65% cacao chocolate bar. Yeah, cod is not a really strong fish, but without any other seasonings, you can definitely pick up the cod flavor. But and just look how creamy that is compared to the paté from the halal ration. I haven't had a whole lot of halibut. In fact, I don't even know if I've ever had that particular fish, so I really don't know what it tastes like. But I have had cod in various forms, so I'm familiar with it. But I gotta keep going back to this and get the focus back on there. Yeah, so I guess it's one of those fishes that can pretty much be a blank palette for whatever you choose to put on it. I've had tilapia, but I've only had it deep fried, and it's probably very similar in that I tasted more of the coating on it than the actual fish itself. I mean, it was not bad. The place where I had it did a nice job with it, but I had it with catfish, so I preferred the catfish. I would definitely recommend this one. If you really like salmon, just for this menu alone, I would definitely recommend getting this one. There is Nation MRE Finds in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is a 2021 pack without pork marked RCIR. The meats are all fishes. So got salmon here, cod there, and then the tuna salad, which I have had before, is in the box. And I will eat that next time. And just like I did the salmon, I will heat it up because that's just the way I like it. It's more, I would call it more like a salmon or a tuna stew. But this is the durum wheat cake with a caramel topping. And this is the Mama Ines brand cocoa. It's actually made by the Homipsa company out of Spain. To me, it's a step up from the SRD. In fact, all of the drink options for hot drinks are the Mama Ines. Both the black tea and the mint tea and the coffees are also from Mama Ines. So this ration packer went with them instead of SRD. And they're using some more of the MX3. So we get like the mueslis that were in these boxes, I took them out simply because I normally don't do breakfast meals, but I keep them as part of my stash. I can use them for camping when I want a quick breakfast. I can just heat up some water. So I like them for that. The only thing is about those bags is they're not gusseted at the bottom and you cannot close them. So I would most likely just mix them in a bowl and do it that way. But the MX3 mueslis are pretty good. That bit of red is red bell pepper. Only a few pieces of that were in here. But the main focus of this is the salmon, and I think it was done very well. Now the cold drink option, that the only one was that mango tea. I like it. Some people don't. But since the RCIR only has one cold drink option, I grabbed a British lime drink, and it looks like limeade instead of the green that would be like a neon version of that color right there. You know, what you'll get in the US MRE drink powders. So it looks more natural than the American drink powders, which I really like. And this cod pate is so creamy, it's almost viscous. So much different in texture compared to the pate that was in the other RCIR. And the bars is the mixed fruit jelly bar. This is the MX3. This is the coffee flavored bar. Same fruit nougat bar as last time, just newer. And this is the Isostar. This is the apricot. I've had this before. And this one appears to already have been opened, so maybe I'll just go ahead and open this one up completely. I mean, just, it was torn as it was about ready to be opened. So, it's kind of glossy like the First Strike bars. I can definitely get the apricot scent off of it, but the apricot flavor is not very strong in it. So it's a cereal bar, but it's not very dense. I mean, it holds its shape very well, but it's not so tough to bite into. And the apricot scent is a lot stronger than the flavor, but it is there. This is .65% cacao bar, and it has definitely taken some heat stress. It's actually feels like it was pressed up against something round like a finger. So those are the bars. You always get 5 of these bars in these RCIRs. I think you get 3 in the other French rations. And for those that came in later, at the beginning, when I was trying to open the can that this was in, the pull tab popped off. I popped it up and I went to pull back on it, and the tab just popped off, so I took it into the kitchen and I had to use one of my butter knives to go open it up some sort. At least I could pull it back. But the food inside didn't suffer any ill effects from it. The can was a bit dented on one end, so it did get knocked around, but not enough to compromise it. I am definitely enjoying it. Even though the pasta is very soft, but that's what you get when you get a shelf-stable food with pasta, and it's going to be soft. But I'll keep going back to this cod pate as well. These salty crackers looks like they got a little extra toasting, which is very nice. Yeah, Nation, I haven't. Have you gotten into that one? Or if you have a video up on your channel, then I'll have to go check it out because I have not been able to get my paws on a halal British ration for quite some time. I would love to try some of the newer ones that are in the bags. And I think it would be awesome if there were some Canadian IMPs who are actually marked halal. That would be interesting to see if the Canadian ration packer, if it's still Baxter's, which I'm assuming it is, if they get a hold of some halal entrees to put into their rations. I'd be very, very interested in knowing if there are any like that. But the newer British halal ones. Yeah, I would definitely love. Oh, no. The two times I tried to buy an RCIR with the kebab meatballs, I tried getting that one twice. Both times it got rated. Halal only means that the meat meets Islamic dietary guidelines, that it is not a pork product or any other prohibited meat, and there are very few of those, and that the animal was slaughtered in a specific manner before it was butchered for final processing. It's a similar standard for kosher meats. There are a few slight differences in the rules between the two, but customs would rate it simply because it has a meat product. A fish product, they have left those alone for the most part. I've never heard of anyone getting a ration with a fish component get rated. And even if the entree is marked kosher or halal and freeze dried, customs doesn't give a flip about that. If it's anything other than fish, they would take it. When Foreign MRE, Art and Nina, were actually able to buy a lot of foreign rations that they were selling, they had gotten in some Norwegian Arctic field rations, and all of the entrees on those are freeze dried. Just like the U.S. meal cold weather, all the entrees there are freeze dried. But they've had any entrees that were not vegetarian or not fish based rated out of some of those rations. And when they rate a ration, they do not treat it kindly. They will just mess stuff up. And they have. You can ask Traversing Food about what he has experienced when some of his stuff was rated. Yeah, those could also be rated too. The only way to guarantee that it doesn't get rated is if a Canadian buys them up there, hands them off to CT, and he travels here in the U.S. They see the stuff in his truck. They just assume that it is his road food. Then he will pack it and hand it off to a post office somewhere here in the U.S. So unless things change, the only thing he has to worry about is his cargo, what he's hauling in the box of his truck. Yeah, and there was probably no way I would have been able to meet up with him, because especially if it was on Thursday or Friday, I spent a lot of time in the mosque doing stuff in preparation for a community event we got next Saturday Plus, we have had some kitchen work done, and the guy that's been doing it still has some more stuff to do. Plus, we have been getting some new things in. So we have been doing some organizing and cleaning up stuff, rearranging. So yeah, that's going to be keeping us busy. Of course, after the community meal next Saturday, then things might let up a little bit. I wonder if CT knows about that Casey's that's on East 14th near Grand. Yeah, that's a new Casey's. That's only been in that location a few months. So I would definitely want to go check that out. Now Tim probably knows that Casey's location. Yeah, that sure did. But from the outside, it looks like it's a pretty nice one. But I definitely want to go in there and at least check it out. I normally don't go into Casey's because they're not, a lot of them are not on the bus routes that I typically use. So that's why I don't hit them up, but this new one that's actually not too far from me, I could walk over there. To check it out. Well, I don't know if there's a Canadian in that Casey's, but I wonder if CT knows about that particular one. For those that don't know, he likes a lot of Casey's pizzas. The thick crust one that he tried at one location, he did not like, but the thin crust pizzas, he likes them. And since Tim has popped in here, this is what's left of the salmon pasta salad, which I heated up. This is a cod paté. Very, very creamy. I mean, it's a total opposite of the consistency of the pate from the other RCIR. There is food forest permaculture in the house. Not a whole lot of seasoning to that pate, so it doesn't cover up the cod flavor. So Howie is up in Canada on the left end. Now this is the apricot, the IsoStar apricot cereal bar. more apricot scent than flavor, but it is there. I went ahead and opened this one because the tear notch had been pulled, almost opened up, so I decided I'll just go ahead and open that one. So I ate the two salty crackers that I pulled out. These are the cereal ones. They're kind of sweet. And these are the chocolate ones. This is the same fruit nougat bar as in the other RCIR, just newer. Mixed berry fruit jelly bar. This is the MX3 branded coffee energy bar. I haven't tried this one, so I don't know what this one is like. I've tried the IsoStar bars. And this is a 65% cacao bar, which took some heat stress because it's, the shape is not quite right. Feels like it was against someone's finger for a month. And this is the Mama Inés Cocoa. It's actually produced in Spain by the Homipsa company that produces stuff for Spanish rations. Then the other hot drink options are the two teas, the black tea and a mint tea, the green tea with mint. 2 packets of coffee, all the same Mama Inés branding on it. And then only one cold drink option in these RCIRs. It's the mango tea, but I'm saving that one for next week. I pulled a British ORP lime drink, which looks like limeade and not the obnoxious green. And not that I don't mind that green color, it's just that it looks more natural than seeing this in your drink, that color. But this salmon dish, the packer was very generous with the salmon. They are not skimping on it at all. But I have definitely enjoyed chowing down on this one. This is the normal serving. This would be on top, but because I already opened the can, this caramel, it's on top of kind of a spongy durum wheat based cake. So that's what it looks like below the topping. The box calls it milky dessert, but sometimes substitutions can be made. It's almost a pudding, but it doesn't have the smooth texture of a pudding. The French rations, you can get the vanilla pudding or the chocolate pudding or rice pudding in cans like this. But I do really enjoy this one. Well, unfortunately, I can't plant a food forest, at least not here. But speaking of plants, if you check out the short I tossed up earlier, before going into Garden State Gardener's Sunday Fun Day stream, I had taken out the cat crap and I was about ready to toss the bag in a dumpster when I spied this pot on the ground by one corner of the dumpster. So I tossed the cat crap in the dumpster. And I thought, I am going to take this pot. I am going to liberate it. It had a pretty much dead ornamental grass plant in it, so I brought that up. And it's on my deck. So I pulled the plant out of the pot and I dumped the potting mix into the compost, and then I broke the plant apart, and that is now in the compost. So I will use that pot to plant in the spring. So I can grow an additional herb or some other plant that I hope has a chance of doing somewhat decent. Yeah, it's a holy pot too because it had big drainage holes on the side as well as the bottom. So when I plant in it, what I might do, I might save some spent tea bags and put them in front of the side holes so that any excess water can drain out, but none of the soil could pop out from the side through those big holes. I mean, those holes are about that big around. A lot bigger than the ones on the bottom. Yeah. Well, it got down to, I think, 31 last night. And I think the night before it got down to 30, so the night before last. No, actually, actually yesterday I turned on my heat for the first time. I had not turned on the heat. I closed up the windows because I had my windows cracked since I stopped running the air conditioner. And I resisted the urge to turn the air conditioner back on when it got up to 80 Fahrenheit the week before. So I finally turned the heat on. So my air conditioner unit also is a heater, so that cycles on and off just like in the air conditioner mode. I tossed these back in a box when I went to open up the salmon. And these are, this is the apricot jam. And because there's only one of these, I decided to go ahead and just bring a peanut butter out of my stash. But then again, I got some other jams and jellies I could pull out, but I just grabbed the peanut butter because it's what my hand fell on. So since I got the apricot bar, maybe I'll just open this up. Again, the tear notch had started to rip off. But yeah, I'll go ahead and open it. What the heck? I'll squirt some of it onto this. That's what the apricot jam looks like. Definitely has apricot flavor. I just licked the jam instead of bit on the cracker. Definitely has apricot flavor. That's a red bell pepper in there, just a few bits of that. Yep, that's what it is. And my heat just kicked on, so hopefully it's not too loud. Same amount of noise as when it's in the air conditioner mode. That finishes off the salmon. This cod pate, if it was any creamier, it would almost be out of the qualifications to be a pate. And this is one of the 2 RCIRs that I got from Mike Kreischer. I did finally get that French kebab meatballs, but as a standalone item in another package that I got from Mike. So I've been sitting on that. That'll take care of that. I have a bag off to the left. And then I'm putting my trash in. I'm going to squirt a little bit of this. Oh, there's Mike. Yeah, this is the apricot jam, and I put a little bit on this apricot bar. That definitely kicks up the apricot flavor. It's also good on these cereal biscuits too. These definitely have a good crunch to them. A chocolate one of the chocolate ones broke. But just for the heck of it, I'm going to put some of the apricot jam on here. It almost covers up the chocolate flavor. But it does add a bit of sweetness. And this is that. It's almost a pudding. with a caramel sauce on top. This can definitely took a beating. There's a dent there. And a dent there. Because I have 4 bars that have not been opened yet. I want to open up another one, but I would like you guys to decide which one. The fruit nougat bar, which is like the other one from the halal ration, just newer. Or the 65% cacao chocolate bar, which definitely got heat stressed. This is the mixed berry fruit jelly bar. Or the MX3 branded coffee energy bar. I've never tried the MX3 bars, so I have no idea what they're like. But I'm assuming that it's going to be somewhat similar to the Commando bars and some of the other. Well, I open this up. I definitely get a strong scent of the coffee, and it almost looks like a latte. The other coffee bars are almost as light as the apricot bar. This one is definitely darker. It looks like the color of coffee with creamer in it. It's very similar to the Commando bar and a very pronounced coffee flavor. It's almost creamy, a little bit more so than the Commando bar. But yeah, I would eat those. Yeah, it's actually not bad. I was kind of curious if it would have a slightly different texture than the Commando bar. I just didn't expect it to be almost creamy with a bit of crunch in it. So I guess these 3 will go back in the box for next week. So next week, it will be the tuna salad. This is a fish soup. So this ration is definitely fish themed. I have a coffee packet. I have the green tea bag in there. And then I have another set of these crackers. I could either stick with the peanut butter or just change it up and pull some random jam out of my stash. And then the cold drink will be this mango tea by MX3. Says that's tea mango. So that is what I will be chowing down on next Sunday. Just the hot drink will have to be decided. the Mama Inés, produced by Homipsa out of Spain. They did all of the hot drink options for this ration. I guess you could almost call this a custard. And the consistency of this is very close to a custard. But this cocoa is a step up from the SRD cocoa. And this is a British lime drink that I pulled out of my stash for tonight. I squirted more of the apricot jam on the cereal biscuit. I do like the crunch that all of these have. Is odd in the Halal RCIR. One pair of the salty crackers didn't have as much crunch, but the other one that I ate 2 weeks ago did. I find that rather odd coming from the same box. But it didn't taste off. It just didn't have the crunch for some reason that the other pair that I ate. Again, so got two more of these. You can see that they have a little extra toastiness to them. So I'll save one of these for next week, and then I'll keep one just for a snack. I'll probably end up just getting rid of this box because it took a bit of a beating too. So one more pair of the chocolate biscuits. So all the chocolate stripes. So I'll save one of these for next week. And the other cereal, it says cereales or cereal. I'm not sure how that would be pronounced in French to be proper about it. So I'll just put those back in the box. And these will just be a snack for another day. I just have a random bag on my left to collect my trash. Now these do come with a trash bag that's in the stove kit, but I have already taken that out, and that is, in fact, I put both of those trash bags together. One of them had a rubber bander on it, the other one did not. So I took the one that didn't have a rubber bander on it, and I stuck it inside the one that did. So those two are together. In fact, they feel different, different thicknesses of the plastic, but they always put a little black trash bag in the stove kit. It's nice that they put one bag in it, but I guess, do you carry that trash the whole day with you, or you just have to dispose of your trash any other way you can? But I save those little bags. I do like the fact that they are black, because they can make disposing of trash a little more discreet. So, if you have to hide your location, it's better to have a black trash bag than most other colors. That way you can still bag up your trash and still be discreet. I had a brief disconnect. Sorry about that. I hope it wasn't too much of an interruption. I was saying you dispose of your trash or bag it up for later disposal and still be discreet about it. So I do like that about those little bags. I put some more of this jam on this chocolate one. There's a little bit more of that caramel underneath this. Now, this is why I just leave stuff like this in the can, because it's just easier to eat it out of there instead of trying to get it out and then it ended up looking like a mess. But I really do like this. Getting these RCIRs is the only time I ever get to eat anything exactly like this. just finished it off. Let's see. Yeah, in fact, this last bite of the coffee bar, I'm going to eat it and then immediately go after the cocoa. Oh, that almost kicked up the coffee flavor. Yeah, chewing on that coffee bar while taking a drink of the cocoa. Well, Nation, I guess that gives you a little bit more time to prepare for winter when it finally does hit your area, because there's supposed to be a chance of flurries or just a dusting tonight. I guess I'll see what there is when I open up the blind tomorrow. The last time snow was actually predicted for here, nothing came of it. And even if it did, it melted before it hit the ground, or it melted as soon as it hit the ground. That's the last of the jam. Yeah, up in Alaska, especially if you're in the northern part of the state. Yes, some places might still have snow in July. Especially if you go up into the mountains. Channels that I watch that are from Alaska, they're like Alaska Granny and Alaska Prepper. There's Sean in Alaska. I'm not subscribed to him, but I watch his videos. And then Somers, Somers in Alaska. They live near the town of North Pole. And I'm sure Cliff knows where that's at. But, yeah, they can get some snow around there. But it's such beautiful scenery up there from what I've seen from any of the Alaska channels that I have watched. I would really love to visit up there. So much different than down here in Iowa. I would definitely agree with that. And that is just more mundane parts of the state. The two people who have the channels, Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, they're a married couple. They have a property in Alaska as well as their Michigan properties. And then their son recently bought a property in Alaska and is building a cabin of his own there because he wants to live there full time. But the this couple, they have a cabin that they built up there. They will go there during the summer. Sometimes, it's harder to get to in the winter, but I'm sure if they got stuck up there for some reason, couldn't get back to Michigan, they could definitely survive up there on their property in Alaska. And my one remaining aunt on my dad's side left Nebraska and moved to Arizona. And she very rarely goes back to Nebraska. Yeah, DeCarlos, you probably see enough of that. Yeah, DC can get pretty hammered too. From what I've seen in the past, where DC has gotten pretty hammered with snow. Now, nowhere near like the northern states or Canada, but I'm sure you have seen your fair share of snow over there in DC. But then again, this winter could be a little strange, since here it's predicted to be a lot milder, or maybe a whole lot mild. Not a whole lot milder, but not as cold. But as far as the amount of snow we could get, I have not heard anything about what that would be like. But they say it's because of the El Nino effect in the Pacific that's driving, or that will drive the warmer weather into parts of the U.S., whereas other parts of the world could get seriously dumped on. Apparently, it's still, some places in Europe are still somewhat warm. They really haven't had the cool off yet. But other parts have probably cooled down already where it's like winter is here. I don't know what Impulse or Shadow would say what kind of weather they're already getting, since Shadow's not in here, but if Impulse is still in here, he may be able to give us a clue as to what it's like there, since they're only one time zone apart from each other. But I don't know if, oops, my phone mount just went down. Let me fix that. There we go. One of these years I'll end up replacing this thing. But as long as it's still holding my phone where I want it to, I'll still use it. If I had a sturdy enough swing arm that I could mount on my tripod, that would be nice. But I would still have to have the tripod right up against the table so that it wouldn't have a chance to topple over. Go back for some more of this. I'm glad I only mixed this with 13 ounces of water, which is the capacity of my drinking jar, instead of the full 16.9 or 500 mils. I get the full flavor of it, I think. But if I had to dilute it, and I've done that with these before, I have used the full amount of water to mix some of these, but I just don't get the flavor that I want out of it. Well, to Carlos, I think you just had an invitation. If you can manage to hop a bird and fly to Alaska, of course that would be one whopper of a price for that. It cost a pretty penny to go from DC to Alaska. When the Whipples, that's the last name of this couple that owns property in Alaska and Michigan, they drive. So they will go up through parts of Canada in order to get into Alaska. They don't fly. I guess they just prefer to drive. And they like to camp along the way. I think it would be fun to do that, but of course I would have to have a driver. And speaking of camp, it was announced today on a video that I watched from TAC of AOK Foraging and Adventures. She went to the same property where I camped at with some others last year for the Veterans Weekend camp. And it's owned by Redbird 491 and some other relatives. And they have these fat poles or just long logs cut from trees that they had taken down. And they put them into the ground so that people can hang hammocks from them. They space them at just the right distance apart for hanging hammocks. And so I took a hammock last year. So that camp is going to be at that same location. In fact, TAC and some others did some work on the shooting shack. They added some tarps and some plastic and some plywood and replaced the stovepipe. And just did a little bit more fixing up on the inside so that it better protects from the weather, especially from wind. When we were there last year, it was pretty windy, so we did spend a fair amount of time in there. And we ate our meals in there because it was either windy or it was raining. And you can put a good number of people inside there, and everyone would feel the heat from that wood stove. So they put in a taller pipe, so the top of it is above the top of that shack. But I hope I get to join them on this one. And TAC said that she's gotten initial acceptance from or interest in attending from people who didn't make it last year. But the way that place is laid out, there's not only enough spots for 6 hammocks, but there's still plenty of room for tents. And it's supposed to take place on the weekend of the 12th. So the ground should be good and froze by then, so it won't be so hard to get out of there, because there are some steep hills that you have to go up and down to get in and out of that location. She said she had used one of those Saker mini chainsaws to cut up some trees that had been blown over by a storm that would have been in the way for people who may go there to shoot, because they have a shooting range there. And these busted trees were in front of some of the targets, so TAC used that Saker mini chainsaw to cut those up. And no doubt that wood will be kindling for future fires. So that is pretty much prepped for whoever goes there to use that place next. So I would definitely be interested in going there again. Yeah. I have relatives who have served, and I have a distant cousin who is in the Air Force. I don't know what he is doing. I don't know if it is a secret thing that he can't discuss a lot about it, or I just have not been told. Not that I really feel like I have a need to know, but he's serving currently. As far as I know, he's still in. I have another cousin who was a jet mechanic at the Eglin Air Base, and I don't remember how many years she was in before she decided to get out and go get a civilian job. And I have had other relatives who have been in the Army and the Air Force. One was in the Army. He was in the infantry during World War II. And then he was in the Air Force during the Vietnam War, so he saw some action in both of those. So when I got invited to join in on these, we like to talk about in general terms, those who have served, like Redbird 491, she was in the Army. But TAC wanted to do these veterans camps because she could not join the military herself because she did not meet one of the requirements. But she has mad respect for those that have served. There's some other Iowans who have channels that have also been in the military. So it's a way to do more than just say thank you for your service. They're invited to spend a weekend in a camp with others who have done the same thing or are related to those who have done that. And we may not do a whole lot of video shooting during that weekend, but we'll do some. But it's mainly a weekend just to enjoy being out in the woods, getting out of the city. And be in the company who, with those who have served their country or, are related to those who have. I could never join the military myself for, because my vision was not anywhere near what they want. So I would be rejected immediately because of that. And like I said, I hope I get to join in on this, and I will probably just contact TAC and tell her that I would love to join in. Yeah, it's just plain fun to do that. It's one of the few times that I get to get out of the city and go camp, because I just can't go anywhere by myself and do it legally. You know, if I go out to just some random wooded place and someone spots my setup, I could be taken for a homeless person when I'm actually not. Yeah, there's no place I can go that's on a bus route. Plus, I would probably get a few odd looks if I'm riding a bus with a big old backpack. And carrying my trekking poles, or have them strapped to my backpack. I would probably get a few looks. Especially if they see an axe head sticking out of it. So that's why I just have to wait for those opportunities when I can go with someone to a location. But I do hope that there is a good turnout this time. But I think that will do for tonight. And this is meal one for this thing. So again, next week it'll be the salmon, or it'll be the tuna salad, this fish soup, the set of these, this drink, and the 3 bars I did not open tonight. And it'll either be the tea or the coffee. So I'm leaving both of those in there. And I have the peanut butter in there, but I could just decide to toss that back and throw another spread in there. But it would definitely be either peanut butter or a jam or jelly that would go with these. So that's what will be on the menu for next Sunday. And I could say next month. So after all, tomorrow is the 30th of October. And next Sunday will be the 5th. And apparently the time change also takes place that weekend, so I hope this is the last time we have to deal with this stupid time change. I'm tired of it. I was hoping that a law would have been passed that would have killed it already, but now that the House of Representatives has the speaker, maybe they'll get something done and get rid of the stupid time change thing. So again, I want to thank you all for dropping in, especially those who have popped in for the first time. So remember, next Sunday, same time, but it will be what used to be known as standard time. But because the daylight is longer than the standard, I really don't call that. I just refer to it as 7 Central, 8 Eastern. The heck with that other nonsense. Again, thanks all for watching, and catch you on the flip side.